And the first thing I want to do is bring in the ball bearing that we intend to use. So I'll go up to Insert and Insert McMaster component. The bearing types we're using is the R8 bearing. So I'll type in R8 in the search bar. We'll scroll down to this shielded type. It's the most similar to what we're using. And in the product detail, I'll drop down the menu bar and select 3D step, select download. We'll take a look at where it comes into place. Looks like it's somewhat centered on the front plane and at the origin point. That'll be fine. I'm going to go ahead and hide the origin again, select OK. We'll snap to this front view, and then we'll start a sketch. So I'm going to select Create Sketch. I'll select the front plane or the plane that's consistent with the face of this bearing. And I want to capture some of the information from the bearing. So this outside diameter and this inside diameter. And to do that, I'll select P on the keyboard, or in the Create dropdown, it's this Project option. I'm going to select this outside face and inside face. Go ahead and select OK. If I hide the bearing, you'll notice that now I have a sketch representing the exact size of the outside and inside of the bearing. So from here, I'm going to use O on the keyboard, O, not 0. It brings up the offset sketch, or the offset option. I'll select the outside ring, and I'm going to give this a value of 0.1. This will be the aluminum area that captures the bearing. Okay. And then I will select L on the keyboard for line, and I'm going to snap to the origin point, drag this across. I'm going to give this a horizontal constraint, and I'm going to select it and select X on the keyboard to indicate that this is a construction line. D on the keyboard for dimension. I'm going to give this a value of 4 inches. And then out here will be the end of our geometry. I'm going to create a circle. So C on the keyboard. Drag this up. D on the keyboard again for dimension. And we'll go with 1/2 an inch. I want the compass to kind of have a taper downward. So next we'll draw in the lines to connect these two circles. So L on the keyboard. I will snap to the circles and continue on, then escape to get out of the line tool. Now I'm going to add a tangent constraint to these intersections that didn't automatically have tangent. Now we're all tangent up. So last thing we're going to do is add in the circles for our pencil to fit into. So it's going to be C on the keyboard. I will select this, the center point of this outside circle as my starting point. And I'm going to use in the Create dropdown the rectangular pattern. So the direction that we're going to go in is along this construction line. And the item that we're going to, if we drag this directional arrow, we can see which of these bars is being populated. So I'm gonna, from doing this earlier, I'm gonna use 13 circles. And in the distribution bar, the spacing, we want it to be, ensure that it's spacing. So that's the spacing between each circle. And that value will go with 1/4 inch, so minus 0.25. And okay. That looks pretty good. So we have some geometry created around our bearing. I'm going to go ahead and hide the bearing again, close the sketch. Now we'll start to extrude this part out. So E on the keyboard for extrude. I'm going to select these 3 regions. I'm going to go ahead and show the bearing again. And I want this first flat part to be 0.185. So I'm gonna start not from the current plane. I'm gonna start from an object plane. So the bottom of our bearing. I'm gonna select the face, and then I will type in a value of 0.1875. And that it seems arbitrary, but it gives us enough meat on here to flip this part and hold it twice in the Haas mini mill. By default, this join feature is selected, so I want to close and not show the bearing. Select OK so that it just creates this flat part. If you do happen to join to the bearing, you can always double click on the feature in the history tree, and then hide the bearing again, reclose it. And so the last thing that I want to do is extrude another region up here to support this bearing. So I'm going to go back in and re-show the sketch. I'm going to be using the same sketch. And to access that area, when I hit extrude, you notice that it snaps to this face. So I may have to hide the body, or it is just hide the body. So I'll select this inner circle, and the distance I want this to extrude up to is to the top of this bearing. So under this extent type, I'm going to select to object and make sure that I select the top face. If you notice, it tries to select at times the entire bearing, and that will give us a fault. So top face, we do want join on, but we want it to join not to the bearing, but to the lower body. And you can see when I open the lower body back up, it wants me to do a cut feature. So we'll come back down, select join. Okay. Go ahead and hide the sketch so we can get a preview of what this looks like. So aesthetically, I think this should have a fillet in here. So I'm going to go ahead and add a fillet. It's actually pretty optional. So F on the keyboard. I'll select the face, and I'm going to drag this out close to that last hole. If I go into it, it complicates the CNC program a little bit, so I'm going to just try and avoid that and just be slightly short of it. If I zoom into it, I can extend this out in smaller increments, and I'll just kind of snap right there so it's not right on the hole. Okay. I'm going to go ahead at this point. We can take a look. We have our bearing in there. I'm going to go ahead and save it. And the next thing we'll do is go into the manufacturing space.